thicker than darkness, crawls to the surface of my skin. Unofficial courage used. Black is all I feel, so this is how it feels to be free. Miles beside himself, miles below himself, yeah. Miles behind himself. Am I inside myself? Loneliness that shadows me, quicker than darkness, crawls to the surface of my skin. Unofficial courage used. Miles beside himself, miles below himself, yeah. Miles behind himself. Am I inside myself? Anyway, welcome to another bloody, horrible, depressing episode of the apocalypse. Congratulations, by the way, for choosing the apocalypse. It was a brave choice, a very desperate choice, an unwise choice, if you will. And since you have so unwisely chosen the apocalypse, what the fuck is wrong with you? You are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide. Your humble guide. Nicholas, so good to see you again. It appears Donnie's really pissed at Harvard. So let's just get this piece of shit started. I woke up to this headline, always an abomination with Donnie shitbags. Always some horrid revenge tour thing, something evil going on that we must wake up to daily. Leon and Donnie and Bondi and all those kind of people, they like sit up all night and think of what, evil they can do first thing in the morning. It's already planned out. It's already decided. Every day is a script. Every day is a script. This is a reality TV star. I don't know if you knew that. He was pretending to be a businessman. Then he got a show about being a businessman, telling people they're fired that are way more talented than him. People that don't shit their pants. People took that seriously because they saw it on the big screen. Then he got the presidency. But these people, everything's scripted, everything's thought out ahead of time. Rarely ever is there anything spur of the moment. Never anything honest, that's for fucking sure. So what did the day start off with? Which abomination? Trump intends to cancel all federal funds directed at Harvard. The thing about these top schools is they do turn out a lot of people that, you know, could be your lawyer. Maybe, who knows? They end up doing some pretty important things, some of them. The rest of them just got there because of who their daddy was or something. We don't complain about that, like George Bush Jr. going there. Now we're complaining about foreigners going there when that's always been the way. Foreigners have always gone to all the major schools. Just like U.S. kids sometimes go abroad and go to a college there. Is there something wrong with that? Absolutely fucking not. Somehow the Reich and you people have decided there is something wrong with that. All of a sudden, because this wasn't a problem before. All of a sudden it is now, with a school that's suing the Orange Ape. And a school that, I don't know, word on the street is turned down his son. I don't know, just what I heard, you know? Many people are saying, and they're saying it very strongly, that his son got turned down by Harvard. So, plus again, it's a Nazi Reich. I keep explaining to you, one of the goals of any good Reich is demonize academia, the liberal people in charge that will speak against your WWF Antichrist antics, illegalities, etc. Because the rubes won't do it. They just cheer, yeah, break another law. What happens to you when you break the law, son? You get locked the fuck up, right? He never does. And he breaks it every motherfucking day. Probably about 10 times a day. You should have a problem with that. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. So all federal funds from Harvard will be now canceled because of Donnie. Because he's Caesar, because he says so. He just proclaims these fucking things, unfortunately. Trump and Netanyahu had a heated phone call where Trump pushed for a diplomatic solution with Iran while Netanyahu urged U.S. support for an Israeli strike on Iran. Now remember, the plan was for Bibi and Donnie, the cutest couple out there, to, you know, sit on the pool deck at the new resort in Gaza with Trump's name on it, with the gold Donnie statues, and Leon eating food by himself because nobody can stand him. You saw the commercial, right? That was the plan. They were going to bomb Iran together holding hands. They were going to take Gaza and clear those pesky Gazans out holding hands. Build the resort holding hands. Remember all that? That was the plan. It was pretty obvious that it was going to go forward. Well, Bibi still has that plan. Donnie doesn't. He made a deal with the Arabs. And they gave him a $400 million plane and a whole bunch of promises and a couple of checks. And Bibi can't do that. So to Donnie, he's less valuable now. Also, there's another nuance to this. I keep talking about it. Donnie wants the Nobel Peace Prize so fucking bad he's willing to throw Bibi and Vlad under the bus for it. He's trying to be the voice of reason. In all these war situations. For some reason. And the reason is he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. It's all an act. It's all bullshit. Donnie can be just as vicious and vile as anyone, Vlad or Netanyahu or anyone. He totally has that in him. And he will, don't worry. Once he drops the little bit of facade that's left. And don't worry, they all will. So it looks like, it appears again, that this rift between Netanyahu and Donnie and Vlad and Donnie is starting to actually be a thing. Because remember, Donnie canceled JD's visit. Donnie didn't even bother visiting. Then they were going to send JD. Then JD canceled. They mad at him. They're mad at Netanyahu. Netanyahu's mad at them. The whole plan has changed now because Donnie has altered the grift. He made a deal with the Arabs directly. They threw him a bunch of money in a plane and resorts and a whole bunch of shit. Nothing that Netanyahu can give him. Gaza's already pretty much cleared out. If we drop the U.S. military in there tomorrow, who's going to fuck with it? Nobody. Nobody of consequence, let's put it that way. So Donnie can go ahead with this plan without Bibi. He doesn't need him at all. He never needed Vlad either once he got the keys back. You know, it's really looking right now. I mean, maybe they'll make friends again. I don't know. It's looking right now like Bibi and Donnie are having a real rift. And Vlad and Donnie are about to have a real rift. Because Donnie wants that man of peace credential, like I've always said. I just didn't know at the time when I first said it, it was about the Nobel again. I should have known. He's a child. He just wants every title. When he said he wanted to be Pope, and then he posted a picture of him as Pope, and then he made the White House post a picture of him as Pope. That means that's the little child screaming out, I want that title too, mommy. Same thing here. I want that man of peace title. I want that Nobel like the black guy got who was in office for 8 years. I want it. I should get it too. If the black guy got it, I should get it. That's what we're dealing with here. I'm not joking. That's how this fucking thing thinks. So Donnie's all of a sudden wants a diplomatic solution after he, sent 30 planes to Diego Garcia, specifically to bomb Iran, by the way. He sent some of them back and then sent some other planes there, so who knows what the fuck's going to happen. But right now, Donnie's wants he's saying, I'm the man of peace. Let's have a diplomatic solution, even after I deployed stealth bombers and then sent them home. Netanyahu's like, no, we had a plan, Donnie, and we're carrying through. We're going forward with or without you. The problem with that is Israel's really a vassal of us. And if we cut off the weapons and the protection, they could have a real fucking problem if Europe decides not to pick up the slack. They could have a real fucking problem. Not that they don't have the best weapons, and they have nukes as well, so they are a force to be reckoned with on their own. And for any Middle Eastern country, I wouldn't want to have to fight the Israelis if they invaded. They got the weapons, son, and they got them from us. Most of them. So if Donnie cuts that supply off, because Bibi isn't helping him getting the Nobel, if he starts sanctioning Vlad and giving Ukrainians some crazy shit and permission to strike anywhere, these two men, Vlad and Netanyahu, they could have a real motherfucking problem. So both of them kind of have to be careful. Vlad's still playing the role that, Donnie's his dog. They even laughed about him today. I'll get to that. But again, Donnie's like, I don't want to bomb Iran now. I'm the man of peace. Netanyahu's like, no, we said we're going to bomb Iran. We're going to bomb Iran. What are you talking about? That's where we're at. Trouble in paradise again. I want to stress this. I did not think it would happen so quickly. I said the second he got in office, even before, I said at some point, he's going to turn on Vlad and Netanyahu if he gets back in. He turns on everyone. That's what he does. He's the beast. You can't control the beast. You can't leash the beast. Impossible. Anyway, let me move on. I digress too fucking much. As Trump claims to be outraged by land expropriation in South Africa, his company is displacing farmers in Vietnam to develop golf courses. Can you believe it? And Donnie don't give a fuck about no Vietnamese farmers. He's got a resort to build, a bribe resort in Vietnam. They promised it to him. I wonder if they told Donnie it'd be free. Wouldn't surprise me to get rid of those tariffs, because Vietnam has a lot of factories that deliver stuff here. Our business is crucial to them. Without it, they fail. They're not a big country, but the one thing they do have is a China-like attitude where, yeah, we'll manufacture for the United States. No problem. So you've heard Donnie and Leon and other people about, the black people are stealing the poor white people, the apartheid descendants' land and stuff like that. And, this is a real thing, and that's why we brought the 50 over, and we're going to pay for everything on your dime, of course. Donnie's not paying a nickel. We're going to pay for everything. You've heard this story. Well, let's hear the Vietnamese story real quick. Just a little bit of it. Don't worry. At town hall meetings in early April, officials told hundreds of residents that the best they could expect was about half of what their land would have been sold for, even before the golf project was announced in October. Holy shit. In Vietnam's communist system, all land is owned by the people, managed or leased out by the state. Most of the property for the golf project is still controlled by families with long-term rights of use. In the Cao Chau district of Hung Yen province, where the Trump project will take up nearly 4 square miles. 4 square miles, son. Are they going to put a big gold Donnie statue? I bet they will. Along the Red River, a sense of betrayal has been rumbling. Yeah, well, they don't want to lose their fucking homes for a gaudy fucking Trump resort. That makes sense to me. Again, the hypocrisy. We're going to complain about alleged white land being stolen in Africa as Donnie's building his resort in Vietnam, throwing fucking farmers off their land. My God, it's so evil. And my God, if there was a picture of a human next to the word hypocrisy on every level, every second, every minute, that'd be Donnie Shitbags, Leon as well, and many others. Holy shit, man. Yeah, see, it ain't just building a bribe resort. That bribe resort has consequences for the people that live in Vietnam. Rubes. Donnie, the grifter. Now, because Donnie's on the grift, the tariff grift, now Vietnam's going to kick a bunch of farmers and people off their land so you can build this 4 square mile monstrosity. And, you know, I'm really wondering if the gold Donnie statue is going to go along with it. Or are they going to save that for the Holy Land? Like the commercial showed. Fucking sociopaths. Certainly, our position is that 24 hours of notice is sufficient. All right, what is this? This is the Deputy Assistant Attorney General, Drew Ensign, quoted here with a stingy proposition before he realized that the immigrants on the South Sudan flight got even less notice than that. Judge Murphy flags that in a footnote. Again, the reason I'm reading you this, I talked about when the Supreme Court threw that the Venezuelan thing back down to Texas, with the caveat you have to give them reasonable time to, you know, fight their case and make a case. What did I say that day when I presented it to you? I said they could give them 24 hours. They could give them 6 hours. What's reasonable fucking time mean? To Texas, son, nothing. So we've seen this over and over again with different cases involving immigrants they want to deport real quick. They're giving them a day, you know, these unreasonable amounts of time to get it all together. The whole case that could save their life from a death camp called CCOT or somewhere else, because other ones are going to open up. They're just looking for that next dictator, whatever, that next demon destined for the lake that's willing to take money to lock men up for the rest of their lives and not even think about what they've done or not done before they take that money. So the Supreme Court punked out, kicked it back down to Texas a while ago, remember, with the Venezuelans. With the caveat, you have to give them reasonable time. So this is a thing that's coming from a lot of courts. You have to give these people reasonable time. What did Nikki say the day that the Supreme Court came out with that ruling? We gonna trust Texas to give them reasonable time? They could say, all right, you get a day, man, and then you're on the plane to fucking Rwanda. That's what they did to some people. They gave them less than a day to make a case for that not to happen. That's why when the lawyer argued the 24 hours is sufficient notice in court, then he realized, oh shit, they didn't even get 24 hours. I guess I should have lowered that number a little bit, huh? With my argument. And this isn't the Venezuelans. This is, I believe there were some Asian men and some others that were sent to fucking Sudan or something against a judge's order, by the way. And we have lawyers for the government arguing in court for the Antichrist, literally. You're lawyering for him. Arguing that, oh, 24 hours is enough. Oh, shit. Well, the judge said you didn't give him 24 hours. Oh, well, you know, 12 hours is enough. Men are doing that, and women are doing that for money to have a nice house and a car. They're arguing that 24 hours is enough time for some immigrant, refugee, whatever, that doesn't speak the language to arrange a whole case, defense, everything, If you don't got all that scheduled and ready to go, you're out. You're on the plane to Sudan. We're hearing stories that they're tricking some of these people into signing papers to say that it's okay to do this to them. Evil, man. I hope you don't have your name on it, son. Because the man got you on a list if you do. And if you do have your name on it, you better get it off right quick. This is the Duolingo CEO. He says AI is better teacher than humans, is a better teacher than humans. But schools will still exist because you still need child care. So that's all schools are, is that they're just a babysitting service. In a lot of ways they are, let's admit it, folks, so you can go to work. Which is a fucked up system, by the way. But whatever. Again, another CEO that's all about AI, talking about how there's not going to be teachers anymore. Who said that first? Me. I said it before Gates said it. I said it before this person said it. I figured, it just came to me one day. I'm like, oh, that's the plan. As far as education goes, no teachers, no loyalty required. AI, son. That's all you need. No pesky humans to get ideas like, maybe we shouldn't be teaching Reich propaganda to children. We wouldn't want none of that, would we, Rubes? Wait till you see what it does to society once they implement it, if there's that many years left. I don't know if there is. But that's their dream. So what does that tell you, the direction our world is going to go? Do you get to make any decisions the direction the world goes? No, you don't. You're nobody. Just like me. But these people, these CEOs of the tech companies, the social media companies, all of them, they want this. They want us to go that AI route. They already introduced it without our permission years ago, and it learned from us to this point. And it's learning more and more every day and becoming better than humans in a lot of ways. One way I can give you is, I made a call to a phone company the past few months, and I dealt with AI with a complex problem, and it handled it in seconds. And even I got a little scared, like, whoa, that's better than a human that I've dealt with for years. It was scary. But anyway, AI, for teaching purposes, that's really simple. You can just program whatever, and it'll just verbatim spit it out. That's easy to give AI that work. If that's all you want children to learn, and you don't want to trust human beings to fuck with your Reich via their disloyalty. So again, you got another CEO worth a lot of money who's all about AI. Bill Gates said it as well. No more teachers anymore. It's the logical place to go in the modern authoritarian thing. You get the population to only learn Reich-approved materials. You do that for several generations. This planet is over. It will never be the same. So that's two CEOs. I'm sure others have said it. Here's Donnie getting really uppity with Vlad today. I can't believe this again. Is this real? What Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really, really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And I mean really bad. That's in caps. He's playing with fire. Wow, Donnie. He's almost made me a believer that he's really getting uppity here with his master Vlad. But what else is in this message? He's admitting that he's been helping him all these years. Did you miss that part? Because that's what he's doing by making this statement. Totally, utterly, and completely. Remember, during Biden's term, he lost control of Congress, the majority. So you have Mike Johnson in charge. Well, the commandment from thy God Donnie, the Orange Messiah, was no aid to Ukraine. We went 6-7 months with no aid because of Mike Johnson paying obeisance to the Antichrist from outside of office. He made this proclamation, and they all followed it like good little monkeys, Mike included. People died because of that, son. And I said it back then when I was talking about it. That decision by a fat, worthless waste of oxygen with orange paint on his face and a load of shit in his fucking diaper. The Antichrist. Ukrainians died because of that. As you crack jokes online, son. You know who you are. So Donnie Krasnov is admitting he's been Donnie Krasnov the whole time, just like we've been saying. Because Vlad's not our ally. He's not supposed to be helping Vlad. But we all knew he was Donnie Krasnov, let's be honest. Even the Rubes know. They don't care. As long as their team gets the win, they'll put their name on Satan and the Antichrist, and they'll put their name on Russia. And the biggest sex trafficker, mobster, the most evil man that I can think of, Vlad Putin, to this point, Donnie may surpass him at a certain point. I don't know yet. We'll see, I guess. That's what I expect, though. That's why I'm talking to you right now. Losing time, money, and sleep again. Because that's how ugly it might get. Vlad ugly. And may even surpass it. So again, when he says this, because of me, some bad things didn't happen to you. I just gave you an example of one. He held up aid for Ukraine for at least 6 months. I remember the whole thing playing out. Making proclamations from the fucking golf course. And Congress, the Republicans in Congress just follow it blindly. As Ukrainians died. And again, we made a deal with Ukraine. We would handle security. We'd help them if Russia ever caused a problem. If you give up your nuclear weapons, they did. We reneging now. We on Vlad's team now. And Donnie from the bench on the golf course, again, cost them 6 months worth of help. People died. It was getting real desperate during that time. I remember. And it's not funny, and it ain't a joke, and it ain't politics, son. That's what you people keep needing to paint it. It ain't politics. It's a deal this country made. It's our word. We reneged, and you laughed about it. As men and women in Ukraine died, you can call that politics, son. You can try as you might. It's just evil, and the man gonna hold you accountable for that. Remember all the things you type and you say, and we're all guilty of saying things we shouldn't. But again, I talked about last night how some people boast of evil. Some of us don't. We're ashamed of it. We want to be better. Others boast of it. What else can I do that's evil? Are some of you out there? You got your name on that very personification. What else can I do that's evil? That's Donnie. You got your name on that. So again, those are the two types of human beings. Most of us are ashamed of the bad things we do once we come to our senses. Oh, that was fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. That's horrible. That's evil. I don't want to be that person. Blah, blah, blah. Most of us are that. Then there's the ones that aren't, and there's a lot of them. Where sociopathy and evil is just fucking fine if it gets me to my end goal that I need to get to. Those are the dangerous people. Donnie's one of them. And again, he's saying straight up to Vlad in front of all of us, if it wasn't for me, man, you might have got taken out by now. I helped you all this time. So help me get the Nobel, or I may have to sanction you or pretend punish you. But I'm really wondering how far these rifts are going to go. Is he going to end up taking Vlad out? Is he going to end up dethroning Netanyahu and all that? Then people would see him as a hero and a great thing and all this, when, again, throughout the entire process, all he would be is evil and the Antichrist, because he'd be doing it to serve his purposes, not for us, not for anyone else. So that's Donnie Krasnov admitting he's Donnie Krasnov. That's what you just heard there. And pretending to get uppity with Vlad again. Here's what Vlad thinks through RT. This is his propaganda piece. President Trump warns Moscow, claiming Russia avoided really bad consequences only thanks to him. Putin doesn't realize he's playing with fire. Trump's message leaves little room for misinterpretation until he posts the opposite tomorrow morning. That's what RT said about him. In other words, we laughing at you, son. We take nothing you say seriously. I own you. And until, Donnie breaks that chain around his neck, Vlad owns him. And Vlad's saying it outright for the whole world to read. Every time Donnie makes some proclamation that he's going to back Vlad down, Vlad attacks tenfold. Every time, to make sure you and I know who's in charge, who's the dog and who's the master. The master, that'd be Vlad. The dog, that'd be your orange messiah. Up until now, Donnie could go a different route and take Vlad out. Who knows? Then a lot of the world loves him. He could help the Ukrainians. He could take Netanyahu out and cut him out of the whole thing. Maybe take him out of power. Then he'd be a hero to a lot of people, wouldn't he? I wonder if that's how it's going to go. And again, there's Vlad laughing at Donnie Krasnov, their asset, their literal asset, that you gave the presidency to. Those of you who voted for him. Okay, Donnie gave pardons or clemency to several people today, and I'm going to go through those, and I'm not going to read every detail about their fucking lives because it's too late. It's the apocalypse, son. We don't need to know every detail. There are horrors a coming that just will make all this seem fucking irrelevant. So Sheriff Scott Jenkins, his wife Patricia, have been dragged through hell by a corrupt, weaponized Biden DOJ. I think that's the sheriff I showed you the picture of yesterday, and I didn't really give you any details of what he did, so I picked a few comments here that explain what he did. This is psychotic. Scott Jenkins took $75,000 in bribes in wads of cash from rich businessmen who wanted to fake police badges so they could flash them, carry guns, and dodge the rules. Can MAGA please stop pretending to care about law and order? Yeah, think about how dangerous that is. A bunch of fucking rich dudes that get badges and credentials from the police for money, and then they come fuck with you, ladies. Because you know who they'd go after with those badges and credentials. Wouldn't really be dudes much unless they into that. Think about how dangerous that is, a law enforcement officer, sheriff, willing to sell police credentials for money. Fucking dangerous. Could get people killed. So that's one person. Took $75,000 in bribes and wads of cash. That's why he was in prison. How much money do you have? Do you have $75,000? Probably not, right? So that's one criminal, yet another criminal, not one, yet another abject, guilty criminal Donnie intentionally let out of prison, because that's Donnie's kind of people, evil people that are actually guilty. Innocent people, he'll leave them to rot in a death camp for the rest of their life. I think Abrego Garcia's been moved, but there's other people in that death camp, don't worry, and they're not going to walk out, so that's why I call it a death camp, in case you're wondering. So another criminal let out. That's the Antichrist. Trump has pardoned Paul Walksack 3 weeks after Paul's mother attended a $1 million per person Trump fundraiser. Coincidence, of course, right? Right, Roops? That's just a coincidence. His mother had nothing to do with it. The million, all of it. Nothing to do with this. It's just coincidence. Donnie's a savior, and this guy that he freed is like Jesus or something, right? No, he's a criminal who took $1 million to let the guy off. We heard it in the first term, $2 million a pardon. Same thing here. He just branched it out. Same grifts too. You're watching the same grifts that were going on in the first term, and some new ones. And it's going to go further, way further than the last time. It already has. Look what we're witnessing. He took a $400 million fucking bribe plane, for fuck's sake, and argues daily and gets all pissed off if you dare question him. Yo, you took a $400 million plane, man. You can't just brush that aside. It's straight up criminality. It's straight up crookedness. And if you have your name on it, I guess you crooked too. If you preaching online like a dumbass that Donnie should keep the fucking plane, I guess you crooked too. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to call you. Oh, Massey. Thomas Massey, Representative Thomas Massey, who I believe is a Republican, talk shit on Donnie's bill and things that are about to happen lately. So, of course, Donnie must ruin him, revenge, primary him, get rid of him. I only want sycophants that change my diaper for me. So Massey has been getting a little uppity lately. So this is what he says. If we're going to have campaign disclosure laws at all, the paid grifters on X and other platforms should be required to disclose who's paying them to influence elections. Well, Russia's paying them, or the RNC, which is naught but Russia/America. We know who's paying them. We've caught some of them. I talked about it for weeks. Tim Pool promoted on his website every day. Real big commercial right at the top, or ad right at the top of your screen. You've seen it. I know you have. After we find out he took Russian cash. Literal paid shill for Russia. Still platformed, still promoted, wasn't even taken down. Wow. So we know what's going on, and we know the websites don't give a fuck, and they're like, we just want the money. Fuck off. What do you mean? So for what Massey is saying when he starts saying these types of things, yeah, they're going to primary him. They're going to try and get rid of him. Unless he, turns back the other way, back into the cult. Or maybe he wants a favor from Donnie in exchange for him voting for this horrible bill, or I don't know. Who knows? That's usually the case when a Republican starts speaking against the president. It really means they want something that the president's not giving them. And if they give it to him, that, okay, you got my vote, all my principles out the fucking window. That's usually how it goes. Hopefully it won't go that way with Massey, but he'll get primaried and he'll lose. If we ever have elections again, which I don't think we will. And this is Adam Kinzinger talking about Donnie's Vlad comment, where Vlad doesn't realize that Donnie helped him, blah, blah, blah. So Kinzinger is saying, nothing sadder than a tough guy who needs to remind you he's tough right after admitting to shielding Russia. Exactly. When you write a comment like this, I know Donnie's desperate to get that Nobel and appear tough with Vlad, but when you write the comment the way it's worded, what he's saying, he's admitting, I've been helping you this whole time. And he's admitting it in front of the whole fucking world. And we saw him help him again when he was on the golf course. He wasn't president, and he made the proclamation, don't help Ukraine. That's main priority. Who does that help? Vlad Putin and no one else. So yeah, Donnie been shielding Vlad since 2015. And those 3,000 classified documents that ended up in the shitter, where do you think they went? I think you can guess. The CDC reports 4 more pediatric deaths from seasonal flu this week, bringing the total to 231 for the 2024 to 2025 season, the highest toll in over a decade. I haven't verified those numbers. This person, all they really talk about is epidemics and stuff like that. I've been reading you their stuff for a while now. They haven't done anything wrong that I've seen. And they usually post a source for their numbers or what they say. But anyway, pediatric deaths from seasonal flu this week, bringing the total to 231. For the 2024-2025 season, damn, 4 more deaths this week, 231 in total for this season. Pediatric deaths, deaths of children. Doesn't sound good, man. But again, we don't get updates from the government anymore. They made sure to shut all that down. So that's why I read you these things, so you can get a sense of some of the epidemics or things that are happening. Trump at Arlington. What he was talking about really is that we have the World Cup, the Olympics, and I won the presidency. Those are the 3 things I think he's talking about. And this was the quote I was looking for yesterday that I never found. I knew it would come up eventually. We have the World Cup and we have the Olympics. Can you imagine? I missed that 4 years and now look what I have. I have everything. Amazing the way things work out. God did that. So God got him back in the presidency. To me, I mean, from my perspective, do you want my perspective before I say this? It was Satan that helped him get back in the presidency. The literal opposite of what he's saying. And he doesn't give a fuck about God or religion or anything like that. So God did that. God helped the Antichrist get back into power so he could grift 24-7 and liquidate the country and fire everyone and ruin American businesses as he opens resort after resort in every foreign country you can fucking think of. So it's amazing that Donnie got back in, even though he missed that 4 years. He was saying, too, at a different point, how it's a good thing that he missed that other 4 years, because then he couldn't take part in this World Cup and Olympics. And who better to take part than the new Caesar, right? I don't know how the rest of the world is saying, you know what, we're not going to do these things in America right now. We're going to move it to somewhere else. And if America doesn't like it, oh well. Donnie said God did that. God allowed Donnie to get the presidency back so he could preside over the World Cup and the Olympics. And I'm sure those things will really help you out as a citizen of this country. It will improve your life so much that Donnie gets to wear the Caesar thing or whatever when he goes to fucking preside over the Olympics as if he's Caesar and God. I wonder how far he's going to take it. The World Cup and the Olympics. How far will he take the presentation? Will it be the shitty blue suit and the MAGA hat? We'll see. The Trump administration is ordering U.S. embassies to stop scheduling interviews for student visas. All student visas on straight pause, and who knows if they'll ever come back. That's not good. That's an industry, man. Foreign students coming here to go to school, just like our students here going abroad to go to school. That's an industry he's fucking with. It's a lot of tradition he's fucking with as well. And this person is saying, make no mistake, this is an extinction level event for American scientific dominance. Now we're not getting the best people. Because some of the best people are in foreign countries. Not that America doesn't have some great minds, that we do. But some of them are in foreign countries. We want them at these schools. We want them to want to come here. Donnie's ruining that. Because he has a vendetta against Harvard. So let's make it a blanket thing so it doesn't look like I'm targeting Harvard, so they can't cite that in a lawsuit that they're being specifically targeted. That's a big deal, man. There's a lot of foreigners, that have been working their ass off in different schools their entire life. Then their dream was to come to one of these American schools, and now they can't. That's fucking devastating, man. Maybe some of them in the process of maybe they've already been accepted, but they need that visa. Now they can't go. Imagine that being accepted, and now it's all on pause. You can't even go. You made it. You did all that work. You busted your ass to be number one at your school or whatever. You got accepted to a major Ivy League school in America. And then the Antichrist comes along. No student foreign visas because they didn't accept my son to Harvard and they're fighting me in court and I'm a Nazi and this is a Reich and how dare they. Amazing. Ed Martin, who is serving as the U.S. pardon attorney among the other DOJ roles, posts, "No MAGA left behind." This is in response to Trump's pardon of Sheriff Scott Jenkins, the fat-ass sheriff I showed you yesterday, the crooked-ass motherfucker taking bribes because businessmen wanted credentials. I just read it to you. Notice what Mr. Martin says, and Mr. Martin is one of the worst sycophants I've seen in the Reich, by the way. We've talked about him many times. The letters he would send out to people. He didn't say no innocent man left behind. He said no MAGA left behind. So it doesn't matter if you're an abject fucking criminal like the sheriff. We're not going to let you rot in jail. We're going to make sure you're free because we like you. That's not because you're innocent, because we like you. That's where our country is now. And we've got the U.S. pardon attorney cheering about it online. That we let this known, proven criminal out just because he's MAGA. Not a good sign, son. Not a good sign for where this is all going. I mean, how many just straight up criminals has he let out? Pardoned traitors to our nation. He's a traitor to our nation. He tried to overthrow the government. It's just so bad how any human in America thought it looked good. I can't even fathom it. All I can say is, what the hell's wrong with you? He tried to overthrow your government, son. You want a king? You want a dictator? Well, you got one now. Enjoy it. Enjoy, like Donnie says. So they're going to reopen an investigation into cocaine found at the White House 2 years ago while ignoring Signalgate from 2 months ago. This person is talking about Bongino announcing, we're going to investigate that thing of cocaine found in the White House. That'll really improve your life, right? Whoever they lie about and said it was his. Did you ask if Don Jr. was visiting the White House that day? Because he's a raging fucking cokehead. And it's obvious, son. Just like his daddy used to be. I think his daddy does Adderall now. You know, took it down a notch. False palate and shit. Did too much damage. Has him shit in his pants. That's the thing about Donnie. You might think I'm harsh when I talk about Donnie. He shits himself. It's not because he's old and he's a geriatric. It's because he was snorting coke with laxative and all God knows what in it for fucking decades. By the pound. Okay? That's why he shits himself. That's why he probably has a false palate. Certain doctors have said that it appears he might. Because that shit eats away your sinus cavity and makes a hole that leads into your mouth. And that fucks up your whole breathing process and talking process and the way air moves through. So again, we're going to investigate some cocaine found at the White House during Joe Biden's presidency to distract the rubes from anything real getting done. Meanwhile, we got a Secretary of Defense who invites reporters into classified chats or doesn't even check who's in the chat to make sure before he uploads strike packages that are imminent within an hour. And then he invites his wife and, you know, anyone from the family to listen in as well or view in. So we're not going to investigate Signalgate. We're going to investigate a bag of coke found in the White House while Biden was president. In the time it took me to say that, Don Jr. has snorted 9 lines. Again, the hypocrisy. Who gives a fuck whose coke it was? Whatever lie they're going to tell. Whoever they're going to try and... What are they going to say? It was Joe's coke? Yeah, Joe don't do coke, okay? And I can tell that. That's obvious. He doesn't do cocaine. Donnie, not so sure. Donnie Jr., oh my God. The coke fucking can't even fiddle up his nose. It comes out his eyes. He's so fucking gacked up. And then there's Leon with the ketamine and fucking ecstasy and shit. When he's sitting there in meetings and presentations, you can see him on the chair, like, just like Mike Myers does, like glitch and starts, like, whoa, man. Yeah, that's what ecstasy does to you. I know the look. I've seen it many times in my former years. But again, what a great point. You're going to ignore classified info being distributed to fucking anybody. And we're going to talk about that bag of coke. Hey, did they release those Epstein files yet, Rubes? All you Pizzagate people? Did Bondi and all the heroes of MAGA that you thought were just going to reveal it all, that it was Bill Clinton the whole time? He ran everything. Everything. Him, Soros, and Hillary. All of it. When's that coming out? Why aren't they releasing it? I thought MAGA, they were all about that. The little children's and stuff. Getting that Epstein info out there. Why aren't they releasing it? You said they would. You said the liberals were doing all this shit. The Pizzagate, all that bullshit. The liberals aren't in charge right now. Why aren't they releasing it? That doesn't bode well for what you've chosen, does it? That doesn't bode well for what side of it you're on, does it, son? No, it doesn't. But you'll ignore that. And you'll look at the bag of coke instead of classified info being given straight up to reporters or Pete's wife. Another day, another scandal under Hegseth. Yes, another thing happened with fucking Hegseth today. This is not silly stuff like Hegseth using taxpayer funds for a Pentagon makeup studio. The allegation here is an illegal wiretap. If they used an illegal wiretap on a senior official, you think they wouldn't hesitate to use it on you? Oh, the Reich would do anything, son. One of us out here? Are you kidding me? I probably got a satellite on my ass right now. Are you kidding me? One of those satellites that can, count the hairs on your face and shit. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I wouldn't put anything. They wiretapping each other, man. Pete is so worried that some other thing about him is going to leak. And here it is. He's wiretapping people. But he's so worried. I mean, these people are so evil. Can you imagine this being your existence, son? And people out there, your mind and your actions are so on constant evil, constant scheming, constant need to hide what you're doing because it's wrong. So you spend all your time worrying about, to the point you probably can't even sleep at night. Who's leaking this? Who's leaking? Did they hear me say that? Let's use Signal. We can't use government applications because then there's going to be a record. So we have to hide it. Oh, wait, there's a reporter in the chat. Oh my God, my wife's on the chat. Oh my God. That's why it's the way it is. That's why it's chaos. That's why they're incompetent. It's like the Three Stooges, because they're always doing evil. Therefore, they have this utter desire to cover it up, and it consumes their thoughts and actions all day, to the point they're polygraphing each other, wiretapping each other, inviting reporters on unsecured apps. It's fucking serious, man. Your country is done with these people in charge. They've already destroyed it. Don't expect... and Leon and the Doge people have all your information. Just everyone's information is all out there now. Nefarious entities have it, and they're going to have it for the rest of time, what little we have left. Do you realize what's the the gravity of what's taken place, what's been stolen from you. You don't yet, do you? You will, don't worry. Why do you think they need all that information? Well, they're about to install all kind of different police mechanisms, AI mechanisms, drone mechanisms, all kind of things to alter our society forever. All that info is going to help them. Plus, Leon's a businessman. And a list of every American, their age, info about them, their crimes, everything you can think about them, their income, their status, that is worth more than platinum to a high-level businessman. Just that list alone. To a trading firm, for instance, that list is fucking triple platinum. Incomes, race, gender, what you're about, all the info on you. That list is the worth of it is infinite to certain people in this world. You don't even understand what those lists are worth. They have that on you. All of it. They had it months ago. Now we got, again, this bumbling Three Stooges act where they're so utterly consumed, like Donnie, someone's going to find out about the grift, the lie, the agenda, whatever evil I'm doing today, last week, yesterday. Someone's going to find out. I have to stop that. That's what all their energy goes to. That's why we're going to have chaos and wiretaps and polygraphs and distrust. And that's what snakes do, and that's what a Reich does. I told you, the paranoia. When a Reich or an authoritarian movement starts, eventually the leader has a group of trusted followers directly around him he interacts with daily. Eventually the leader gets so paranoid. We've seen it in all the movies, we've seen it in history. They just start executing people. Just out of paranoia, no one even did anything, son. Do you hear me? Trusted, valuable, inner circle people, because they're the closest. They're the one that could put the shiv in your back. Therefore, the dementia-ridden or coked up, authoritarian king or, drug kingpin gets so paranoid he just starts executing his inner circle. And then he has a new inner circle. And he gets paranoid again and he does it again. That's the pattern. So that's why, again, these people, wiretaps, what's that called? The lie detector test, all of it, polygraph. The constant need to cover their tracks. They can't help themselves. It's what their entire existence is based on. This girl, this video popped up in my feed, and I don't really look at many videos like this. Some of them make it through my screening, and I end up seeing it. So she has a TikTok video, and allegedly the premise behind it, I'll just leave it up there. Allegedly the premise behind it is that cat on her guitar, she gets to keep it if she gets a lot of views on the video. I don't know if that's true. There's a lot of lies online. But that's how it was presented. So she does a little acoustic version of Take On Me by Aha. And she does it very well, by the way. She doesn't sing it like they sing it. She's a girl. And she's not a professional. But I loved every fucking second of it. I loved the cat on the fucking guitar. The whole thing was mellow as fuck. It was beautiful. I commend this girl. She did a great fucking job. Again, it's a very simple rendition. I'm not saying, she should go on, whatever those shows are. America's Got Talent. But I find her more valuable and what she put forth more valuable than the greatest America's Got Talent motherfucker. The one that thinks they can sing like Rod Stewart, whatever, Celine Dion, the ones that think they can sing like that. None of them ever can. I would rather watch this girl and her little cat and the guitar all day, every day. Why? Because it's real, son. It ain't an act. It's sincere. And it's one of the most amazing pieces of footage I've ever fucking seen. I think a few tears even came to my eye. I was actually moved by it, and not much on this shitty, worthless fucking planet moves me ever anymore, honestly. So you should check out this video. Her video at the time had about 4 million views. God knows what it's at. This cat literally slept on the guitar as she played and sang. She sang it softly and beautifully, and I loved every fucking second of it. I'd rather see this than a professional performance, honestly. Why? 'Cause it's real, son. I'd rather listen to this girl than Celine Dion, do you hear me? As skilled as Celine was. Why? 'Cause it's sincere. There's not the need there to be like, I have to be the greatest of all time. I am Celine. You know what I mean? Like that. We don't. It's not necessary. Amazing little video. It's only like a minute something long, and I know it's not politics, but I don't give a fuck. And look how cute that little fucking cat is. This was real and amazing. Check it out. I'm sure you'll find it. Girl plays guitar with cat asleep. I don't know what you search. I don't know the girl's name. I don't care. I care about what she did. And I was moved by it. And nothing moves me anymore. Not much. And I hate saying that, but it's the truth. This brought a tear to my eye. I was impressed. I was moved. Not much on the planet does that anymore. Anyway, this is the White House putting out Donnie's proclamation regarding Vlad. So again, we basically have the White House social media account is Donnie's personal account. Like when Donnie posted a picture of himself as the Pope, we saw, 5 minutes later or the next day, I can't remember, the White House posted the same picture of Donnie, the president, as Pope. That's kind of Reiki. That's kind of Adolf Hitlery. That's exactly what Adolf would do. The state account would be his account. It would post the same thing Hitler posted. Just like when Donnie posted a picture of him as Pope, utter blasphemy and utter abomination, making a mockery of the whole process these priests have to go through to even be considered as Pope's son. You have to dedicate your life to the church. Study, time, effort. Donnie, hey, I inherited a lot of money from my daddy and I was a slumlord and a money launderer. Can I be fucking Pope? Again, it's a mockery of the whole thing, the Catholic Church, the papacy. Not that I took it very seriously, but the last two popes, I'm seeing some interesting things in them that I didn't know about. Anyway, again, another comment on the Trump administration is ordering U.S. embassies to stop scheduling interviews for student visas. Blowing a $50 billion hole in the budget of every state flagship and top private university in America, gunshot wound to the head of the best education system in the world, and the crown jewel of American soft power, absolute madness. I'm not saying it. This is someone that's, obviously knows about that whole system and the economy of it and how it all works. I don't. I just know it's an industry. Harvard, Yale, all the big schools, that's big money. And they want the best minds. They'll let in the legacy George Bush Jr.'s, abject morons. They'll do that. They'll let in, Ron DeSantis and people like that. But they also let in the real deal, the real McCoys, the people that are fucking geniuses. They want those people and they get those people. The Einsteins. So according to this person, it's going to hurt so many financially. It's going to ruin a whole education system, the way things are done. And it's the soft power of America, the minds we turn out at the big league schools. But Caesar, he proclaimed it. So, speaking of proclaiming things, this is Donnie Shitbags. I have just signed a proclamation for the United States Border Patrol celebrating their 101st anniversary. Shockingly, President Biden and the Democrats refused to celebrate and honor them, and therefore would not sign a proclamation celebrating this great achievement and all they have done for this country. I'm not liking the use of the word proclamation, because that's the word I use when Donnie puts a post up. Now Donnie's starting to use it, that he's making proclamations. Again, that sounds kind of Reiki to me. And it's in essence what he's been doing since day one. Every day there's, 9 more executive orders. They make a whole scene out of it. People explain them on camera. Proclamations, that's what I kept calling them, right? Donnie's calling them proclamations now. Uh-oh. Caesar getting more comfortable. That's what I'm saying. Oh, Trump is getting a military parade he wanted in his first term. There will be 28 Abrams tanks, 6,700 soldiers, 50 helicopters, 34 horses, 2 mules, and a dog, according to the Army's plans for the June 14th event. Again, Donnie's going to use that as his birthday party event. And the reason they posted this, they want to make the point, cutting funding for education and healthcare, but paying for this, right? Utter waste of money. Sending tanks down the street, whatever the fuck they're going to do here. I mean, I'm all for honoring the military, but we don't need to do the strongman parade thing. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a waste of fucking money and resources. And it feels like a birthday party for a child who wanted a parade. A dictator who wanted a parade. That's what it feels like. Not a good idea. We're all about saving money, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. What's this? And we can cut funding for education. We can cut funding for SNAP. We can cut funding for this. We can tell the states to fuck off. We're not helping you. No FEMA help. No FEMA money. None of that. That's my money. Fuck off. But the military parade thing, that's fine. We can pay for that. That's okay. To the tune of millions. That's your country now. I saw a few of these pictures. They are allegedly of Gaza. They were all over the internet today. What do you have here? It almost looks like a prison cell or a camp. People kept calling it a death camp or a prison camp or whatever. That's not what it is. What they did is they put up fencing. And only so many people can fit in each line of fencing. And the reason they're there is because aid is going to be delivered. Also, the reason they do it this way is so Hamas can't steal all the aid. That's another reason they do it this way. Is this good? No. But I wanted to be honest about what it is. And it's people lining up for aid, which they desperately need. And I guess, you got to do it this way. You're going to have pandemonium, and you're going to have, maybe a gang take all the aid and just drive off with it. But again, this wouldn't be necessary if the whole bombing and ruination of Gaza hadn't continued. Again, I'll say this again because I want to make it clear. I feel Israel had the high ground right after the attack happened against them. To go after the people and get them. And maybe secure the borderline a little better. But now they've taken it to another place. Now it's about clearing everybody out, putting up resorts, making real estate deals, all that. It's not a good thing. And now you've lost the moral high ground. Now we're seeing pictures of kids missing limbs, starving. Pictures like this after aid has been withheld. You don't have the moral high ground anymore. Now it's become an evil thing. And it's sad to watch. Because I know where it goes. It goes to a place where Donnie has gold statues on their territory. It goes to a place where there's a Trump Gaza resort. That's not a good place. That doesn't benefit anybody. You know, the only people that benefits? Donnie Shitbags and his business partners, be they BB, whoever. Nobody else. Nobody. You just took a bunch of people's land and slapped up some gaudy resorts on it. That's all you've achieved, and it doesn't help the Israeli population. It doesn't help the Gazan population, the Palestinian population. It helps no one but a few rich people. So your endeavor is no longer noble. You've lost the high ground, or excuse me, the moral high ground. And I have a feeling this is going to get worse till they just round these people up and ship them somewhere. Because that's the plan. They're going to be gone. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. Because again, the American military, who's going to fuck with it? The Israeli military, who's going to fuck with it? In that region of the world. It's going to happen. I don't know how far along they'll get with the resort and all that. I know there'll be a temple built at some point on that Temple Mount. Who knows how long all that takes to play out. But that's the end goal here. That's why these people are lined up waiting for aid. That's why they're being starved and their territory is being leveled. Because people have plans for it. And these people here you see in the picture, they don't have any role in those plans, so they'll be moved. This person found this in Mad Magazine. It was in 1992. And here's what it looks like. And it's about Donnie Shitbags. Even back then, they knew he was a con man and a liar. How come you didn't? And there's two different scenarios here. When should we believe Donald Trump? On the left side, Trump surviving at the top, stacks of his books. So that's the picture of success, right? Of course. That he tried to paint in public. And here's the real Donnie Shitbags. Where he's kneeling in front of bankers. Can you please give me more money? Because he's broke. And I'll read the two things at the bottom. When should we believe Donald Trump? When he writes a book telling us all what a financial genius he is. Well, he tells anybody willing to listen that. Or can we believe him when he has to beg his bankers to restructure his debt because he's broke? Indeed, he lived on credit. I mean, my God. He was a terrible businessman. So on one side, the stack of books of how great he is, and he's, financial wizard. On the right, the reality of him, basically living from bank to bank until American banks said, you're a fucking deadbeat. We're not going to do business with you. That he went to Deutsche, the Russians. He went to the Russians in 87. I mean, damn. So my point is, by showing you that, by reading you that, in 92, we knew he was a grifter. Even Mad Magazine knew it. How come you didn't know? Here's Leon. Leon, he's got to be beast number 2. I've never seen anything like this. After the heat he generated for himself to the point he had to almost go in hiding, he's coming out saying things like this. When you stop waste and fraud, it's not like the fraudsters admit their guilt. They don't say like, oh, isn't it so great that the money we were getting, fortunately, has been stopped? They will obviously come up with a sympathetic sounding claim, but that claim has no merit. Yeah, fraudsters aren't going to admit their guilt after you catch them. But the thing is, he really hasn't caught any fraudsters. Have you noticed that? Where's all the big prosecutions? Where's all the fraud at? Oh, that's right, it didn't exist. Leon just fired a bunch of people so they could pocket the money in the form of contracts. That's the reality of it. And again, he's acting as if he cut all this fraud, waste, and abuse. Donnie has spent more money than Biden at this point. We've saved zero from these Doge people. We've probably lost money via their salaries. $8 million a week. And again, presenting this as if he did some noble thing for the government, now he's being persecuted and shit-talked. No, he's the biggest leech ever born that I've ever seen. I've never seen a person with their hand out as constantly as Leon. He just got how many billions in contracts in the first 4 months? He's the biggest welfare queen I've ever seen. Yet again, he's talking about others, calling them fraudsters. That Tesla stock, if that ain't fraud, nothing is, son. Nothing. His businesses would not exist without the welfare you've given him. Again, for the 9th time. And listen to the way he talks. He's more of a leech than anyone he's alleging fraud against. He's more of a fraud than anyone he's alleging fraud against. When's he going to admit his fraud? Good thing Donnie won, huh? Now you can get all them contracts to keep your shit afloat. Trump tired of peace talks and ready to hit Russia with new sanctions as early as this week. That's from the Wall Street Journal. And this is a Ukrainian reporter. So, you know, they want this to happen really bad. I'm not so sure it's ever going to, though. That's the problem. If Donnie slaps actual sanctions that hurt Russia, I'll be stunned. Because that'll be the first thing he ever did in 10 years. Against Vlad in any real way. That would tell me something. But they have to be real sanctions, not bullshit ones that no one cares about. Okay, this is the Paul Waltsack guy again. Let's take a quick look at what he looks like. And then I'll read what he did. So Trump pardoned him 3 weeks after Paul's mother attended a $1 million per person Trump fundraiser. And the poster is saying, this guy went to jail for screwing over nurses and doctors at his nursing homes, taking $10 million from their paychecks to buy a yacht, son. Do you hear me? His mom goes to a $1 million per person fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago, and now he's pardoned. I'm sorry, there's no $1 million per person dinner. That's a scam. That's bribery. Jesus Christ, $1 million per person. These are the people Trump looks after, not you. Yeah, not Abrego Garcia either, even though he was ordered to bring him back by the Supreme Court. What do you want to hear it one more time, what this person did that you're about to defend if you're on Team MAGA? Screwing over nurses and doctors at his nursing homes, taking $10 million from their paychecks to buy a yacht. People, in other words, a rich cunt that doesn't do anything for a living, does nothing all day, never worked a hard day. People working in a nursing home, doing that hard-ass work. Because if you think taking care of old geriatrics with dementia that can't move is easy, son, go try it. It ain't easy. It's motherfucking hard. That's why most of us have never dreamt of doing it for a living. There's a certain type of people that do it. We've seen them, we know. They can handle it. They're tougher than we are. It's that simple. Because I think most of us wouldn't make it a week in a nursing home, what those people got to put up with and how you got to, you know, basically lift people. It's a lot of work. It's crazy. It's not easy. So you have the rich cunt that's running the place that never worked a hard day in his life, stealing money from them. And they don't make much, son. Nursing home workers, they don't make a lot of money to buy a yacht. I don't know how a person could live with themselves doing that. I don't care if you own the company. It's still disgusting. And again, you're taking food out of poor people's mouths. That I guarantee you pay the lowest possible salary you can get away with. Because of what industry it is. It's not a valued industry. And I'm not talking about the high money nursing homes. I'm talking about the average ones. And even the high money ones, they have the same people working there. The people that can handle it. And they're usually a certain type of people. And they work hard. And it ain't easy. And they don't get paid much. And they got to worry about cunts like him stealing money from their paychecks to buy a big fancy boat. I think that's why America's over. Greed. It's one of the main reasons. Stupidity and others, but greed is really the heart of this nation, let's be honest. The Navy returned almost all 381 books removed by Trump's DEI purge. I don't know why this happened or how this happened. If it did happen, that's good. Maybe it's because people talked about it. I talked about it. Wonder if Trump is going to cut funding to the Navy Academy now that they've returned the books he banned during his racist DEI rant. Yeah, I don't know if they have the authority to do this, if a judge said it's okay. I don't know. I look at 97 things a day. And this is Billy Baldwin saying that. Remember Sliver? Sharon Stone and shit? I think he's a decent actor. More than decent, he's pretty good, actually. What am I talking about? There's a naturalness on camera. Trump seriously considering lifting all Biden-era restrictions on Ukraine's war fighting, Kiev Post sources say. So again, this is a Ukrainian reporter. He really wants this to happen. So when he hears this, he's going to put that right in your face. Because his people are dying. Now, the way they present it, Biden-era restrictions. Well, Biden may have had those restrictions, but he was helping you with weapons. While Donnie was on the golf course, making proclamations that you get no help in Ukraine. So who's worse? Biden, who said, I don't want to start World War III. I can't give you missiles and say shoot them at Moscow. Because that's the United States starting World War III. It's a fine line you got to walk. It's real hard as a world leader. And some people are really going to hate you for it. What was Donnie's idea, though, Ukrainians out there, while Biden was president? Well, all I heard Donnie say is, make sure Ukraine gets nothing. That's our number one issue. Ukraine gets nothing. And the MAGA folk across the country clap like seals. Because they evil. So who is better, Mr. Ukrainian reporter? And I like this reporter. I've been looking at his stuff for a long time. I'm not talking shit on him, but let's be honest here. Who's better for Ukraine, Biden or Donnie? Donnie's owned by Vlad. And Donnie's proclamation, while Biden said, I'm going to give you weapons, I'm going to give you help, but I'm not going to give you missiles to go, shoot at Moscow and start World War III. Donnie's proclamation was, no help, fuck you. I don't care how many of you die. That was his idea, as opposed to Biden's restrictions on what you can do. Always remember that. Never forget that. Biden didn't invite Zelensky over here and make a fucking fool out of him or attempt to. Because Zelensky held his own very well, I must say, which in a very pressure-filled situation. You're with the American president, vice president. They have all got an act prepared for you that they rehearsed in the mirror before you even got there, son. As your people are dying, you got to keep your composure and not start, killing people. Because you're thinking about your people dying in a trench back home as you're dealing with these fat fucks that just want to own more, steal more, and lie more. Anyway, I digress again. Again, with the Canada shit, there's a reason Canadians hate us now. I told Canada, which very much wants to be a part of our fabulous Golden Dome system, no, they don't want to be part of the Golden Dome. They don't want to be part of the United States. They want to be part of nothing. That it will cost $61 billion if they remain a separate but unequal nation, but will cost $0 if they become our cherished 51st state. They are considering the offer. What is with this cherished shit Literally, this is the Antichrist using this We'll cherish the Holy Land. We'll cherish Gaza. We'll cherish, Canada as our 51st. What is it? An irony? Is it a joke of Satan? What is it? He ain't gonna cherish jack shit. He just wants to make real estate deals and sell access, to oil drillers, mineral companies, lumber companies, etc. Same thing he's doing to our parks here, our final protected lumber and land that hasn't been touched by oil drilling and, being cut down for wood. So no, they don't want to be the 51st state, and it's a ridiculous notion to call Canada a state anyway. It's enormous. Even that's fucking ridiculous and shows a lack of respect. So now he's trying to use the Golden Dome as leverage over the entirety of Canada, saying, it's going to cost 61 billion. You can pay that directly to me. I'll just put it right in my pocket. And then, we'll protect you too. Or you can pay zero and just give us your whole country. You heard what I just said to you, right? People out there, bots, etc. We'll protect you with our Golden Dome, for fuck's sake. What's up with all the gold things with Donnie? If you give us your whole country, it won't cost you anything. Who else but the Antichrist would say that? About one of our prior most precious allies and trading partners. If not our most precious, our most reliable. I can't think of anyone that would say that. So many things just prove what he is over and over again. I mean, just over-the-top abominations that don't even make fucking logical sense. I don't believe they're going to build a Golden Dome, and I don't. If they are, it's not going to be for missile defense. I believe they're going to give a bunch of people a bunch of contracts, just like Altman got, just like Leon got. Most of the money will be pocketed by people, and most of the infrastructure for what they're talking about already exists, and a little money will be put into it. In other words, I think a lot of people are going to be pocketing that $500 billion for AI. I think most of the infrastructure exists. I think the Golden Dome may also have to do with what Leon's doing in space. So you're going to have that partnership going on, contracts being given, money being pocketed by a guy who couldn't run a successful business if he tried, and that's Leon, and that's also Donnie. So when you hear company business gets $500 million contract, you don't know where that money's going. $400 million could go in someone's pocket. The rest could be put towards the project. How the fuck would you ever know? You wouldn't, and you won't. You won't know how much of your money Leon's going to pocket with these most recent contracts he got. So when I hear the word contract goes to Palantir, contract goes to Leon, contract goes to Altman, you know what I hear? Welfare for rich people. Because I know a lot of that money going in somebody's pocket. And it's disgusting. All of us out here struggling just to eat. They pocket in billions and millions. Because it's called a contract. Or a loan. Or a forgivable loan. Or a grant. I'm just talking for a minute. I'll get back to the thing. I want to savor my last cigarette. I'm going to have to go get more after this. So I'm savoring it on your time. Because I ain't being paid for this shit. I'd smoke even if I was. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment, all you wonderful bots in the comment section or in the chat. I forgot, we're live, baby, we're live. Savoring it. Ah. All right. Let's get back to this bullshit. Yes, so Canada doesn't give a fuck about a golden dome, which is really a welfare scam for a bunch of rich people. Most likely Leon, because he's the space guy, right? So, of course, who else am I going to give to? Leon's the only one shooting rockets, you know, because of all that welfare money you gave him. Now he's going to get more with the golden dome. And he's trying to extort Canada with his bullshit-ass golden dome as if they give a fuck. The only way to take these territories is going to be militarily. So if he does take them to try and form this North American oligarchy from Greenland, we've all seen the map, and it's real, and they believe it. It's obvious by what Donnie's doing, the territories he's asking for. They want to fill in those spaces on that map. And have their North American oligarchy with no borders so they can pull a workforce from Guatemala and you starve to death. And they're doing it now. Donnie gave an exemption to his. Illegals. If they do that, the only way to do that will be militarily. So I expect the first move will be take Greenland militarily, because that one's easy. There's not many people there to put up much of a fight, is there? No. So I expect that to be surrounded by Navy ships at some point. That'll be the first move of seizures. Eventually, they're going to go into Canada, too, and take that. They're going to take the Suez, the Panama. That's all on the agenda. I expect Greenland first, though. Anyway, Trump just pardoned Todd and Julie Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best. That was a show. They were convicted of bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy for falsifying documents to obtain loans and evade taxes. Obvious proven criminals. Todd was sentenced to 12 years. His wife got 7. What a disgrace. Again, the Antichrist. Who's he letting out of prison? Who's he giving pardons to? Traitors, criminals, liars, thieves, just like him. The innocent man who has no charges in either country, we fight tooth and nail, or excuse me, the Reich fights tooth and nail to make sure he's locked up for the rest of his life. What was that passage in Scripture? They will call good evil and evil good. You're living in it. We've watched the MAGA movement do that for 10 years as they parroted their Russian talking points like good fucking rubes. Calling evil good and good evil. That's all you've been doing, son. If your name is on this. That's all Donnie's doing. We're watching as criminal after criminal gets pardons and gets released from prison. It's astounding to see something this crooked. Again, I've never seen it. Nothing like it. Again, the same couple convicted for multi-million-dollar bank fraud, scheme involving fake documents and tax evasion. Meanwhile, he's deporting people without due process. What a joke. Yeah. Due process is going bye-bye. Abject criminals are being let out. We're bringing Nazis over from South Africa. I'm not liking the direction this is going in. I don't know about you. Making diaper full again. It's a new hat. New Donnie Shitbags hat. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? I think it looks great. And again, I was thinking about this today. People get so offended by the things I say and the way I talk about these people. But here's the thing, you don't mind as they spout abominations daily, smear anyone they want, tell any lie, just preach evil all day using the most vile of language. That's okay to you. But when a guy gets on camera and contends it and pops the same shit, if not worse, back to them or on them or about them, you get all mad about it. But that's what your movement's based on, popping shit. You read Donnie's Memorial Day message, right? Started out with scumbags in the first sentence. So if you're offended by the way I talk about your messiahs, I have to say this again. You have no right to be, because that's the way you talk. That's the way your messiah talks. Didn't even mention the soldiers on Memorial Day in his message. All caps, scumbags in the first sentence. So, if all of you people want to pop shit, the most vile shit, all lies, you want to invert reality, I'm a contend it, and so are others. And we're better at it than you. And that's really what makes you mad. And we're telling the truth. That's really what makes you mad. Because that makes you realize what you are. And you can't handle that. That's why you can't speak the truth. That's why you can't live in reality with us. You must live in some false reality where evil is good and good is evil. That will be on your head. You will be judged for that. Inversion of reality. Back in the old thing I was involved with, the rock star and all those people, they love to pop shit on everybody, say the most vile things, smear people in court documents, make up abject fabrications in articles, court documents, online, spout the wildest theories, talk the wildest shit. Okay, they wanted to do that, YouTube and all the cunts out there? Then I guess it's okay for Nikki to contend it, right? And pop that shit back, right? No, it wasn't. You consorted with the mob against me, son. That's what you've done. So again, if the mob wants to use the press and the media, social media as well, to pop shit, I guess I can too, right? All's fair in love and war, right? Well, it's not love or war, but you know what I'm saying. So if it's okay for the right to do that all day, every day, rubes out there, I guess it's okay for me to say what I'm saying, right? And the way I say it. They're doing it at the top government level. It's all about popping shit. So why you mad? You got no problem doing it. You've got no problem preaching it. You've got no problem with these vile demons doing it. Then you shouldn't have a problem with me doing it. Thank you. Thank you for your attention to this matter, or on this matter. However AI puts it for Donnie when AI writes him up a post. Oh, this is Darth Putin, and remember who Darth Putin is. He knows all and sees all. So take this very seriously. I took it seriously. What Trump doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of very bad things would have happened to Donald Trump. And I mean really bad. He's playing with fire because I have the PP tape. Uh-oh. You know what? I'm going to tell you a secret. I believe Vlad has the PP tape. I believe that tape exists. Because Michael Cohen is still holding a bunch of secrets back, Trump's ex-lawyer. And one of Michael's jobs, and he talked about a tape that was going around that he needed taken care of. But Michael swears the PP tape does not exist. I don't believe a fucking word that $3 ass lawyer says. And I don't care about his recent conversion after Donnie threw him the fuck under the bus. He's still a fucking joke to me. So the way Mr. Cohen talked about the PP tape and it doesn't exist and it was my job to handle tapes and there was this tape and blah, blah. No, it exists. And Vlad has it. I believe it. And Donnie loves everything golden. You know what I'm saying? Everything golden. So it fits in with his personality. And he's the Antichrist. He's disgusting. The things he's done behind closed doors with Epstein and other people, my God, I don't even want to know. Again, this thing is of Satan. Doesn't care about another human being, except maybe for Ivanka. One of Epstein's best friends. So Michael Cohen, who I knows a lot more about Donnie shitbags that he ain't telling, because he still has this little bit of love for Donnie and this little bit of desire to protect him, or maybe he's worried about his family's safety. I don't know. I believe the PP tape exists. Maybe one day it'll come out. Look, it's all good as long as we keep the visa program. Let me read what that's about first. This ain't me saying it. Breaking news, Trump throws America's $44 billion education business into chaos by halting all student visas. This is George Conway. So remember, Donnie fucked up a whole industry by halting all student visas. And the visa program, the student visa program. So George responds with, look, it's all good as long as we keep the visa program for Slovenian nude models. That's called getting raw on a motherfucker. That's what that's called. Trump's latest batch of pardons includes a sheriff who took $70,000 in bribes to appoint donors as deputies, reality TV stars convicted of serious financial fraud, a millionaire who stole from nursing home staff whose mom is a major Trump donor. Yes, he's the Antichrist. Yes, you're in the apocalypse. None of this is normal. Criminal, I mean, these are the most vile people. I feel like I'm watching that movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. What the fuck was that called? I can't even remember. Where Pacino made Keanu help get literal guilty people off. That's what Pacino was doing. Because why? Because Pacino was Satan. So he had the fresh-faced young lawyer get people that were guilty and were very evil out of their prison sentences or out of their, going to prison. I feel like the same thing's happening here. I mean, again, let me read that last one. A millionaire who stole from nursing home staff, whose mom is a major donor, whose mom gave Donnie $1 million. He stole from nursing home staff. I don't know how people can be this low. I don't get it. Why? Because I'm not of Satan, that's why. If you defend this, if you argue in favor of it, guess what you of? Oh, Leon loses another rocket. I think we're at the end here. Good, so I can go get a fucking pack of cigarettes. SpaceX loses control of Starship, adding to spacecraft's mixed record. Yeah, mixed record. That's your money, son. Blowing up, by the way. That's your money. Leon didn't pay for it. You did. Much was riding on Flight 9 for Leon Scum's giant Moon and Mars rocket after debris from January and March flights fell into the Atlantic Ocean, disrupting air travel. Fire rains from the heavens in the sight of men. That's what Beast number 2 will do. Now, this one kind of fucked up in space, but there was footage of it. Anderson Cooper presented it on CNN. And all you see is this rotating orange flame in fucking space. And Anderson's talking all somber like, yes, the rocket, they lost control of the rocket. What you're seeing right now is the rocket is tumbling. That's why it looks that way. That's Leon. That's your money, son. That's what was done with it. And what's this, like the fourth or fifth one in recent history? No big deal, right? Leon's just, all about success. You know what I mean? And, he just comes off of basically getting thrown out of the White House. Donnie, like, Leon, you got to go into hiding a little bit. Don't worry, you can come on the Arab tour and grift with me. But you got to, tone it down a little bit. So he goes from that to being all pissed off on a podcast saying, I think I'm going to withhold all political spending at this point. And, if I see a reason to do it, then I will in the future, but I don't see any right now. Why? Because of all the blowback? Well, I just don't see any right now. He went from that, crying at his mommy's house on a podcast. At least that's what I heard. To the next rocket he launches, blows the fuck up. SpaceX Starship, smooth launch, but spacecraft makes uncontrolled re-entry. That's what they call that? Uncontrolled re-entry? Phrases like that just typify, exemplify that corporate cunt mentality at the top of our society. No, the shit blew up. It fucked up. It malfunctioned because Leon's in charge, and he probably pocketed most of the fucking money. He probably glued on the panels of the rocket like he does to the Cybertruck. His cheap ass, his in debt ass, his fraud ass. Uncontrolled re-entry. Fuel leaks on upper stage vehicle caused it to spin uncontrollably before its planned re-entry through Earth's atmosphere, ending with a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. I was trying to remember that phrase. I'm glad I read this. Again, the corporate cunt mentality, trying to clean up what it actually is. No, the shit blew up. It didn't rapidly, unscheduled disassemble. That didn't happen. It fucking blew up. They think we're all so stupid. That's I think what it is I'm actually insulted by the elitist mentality, the corporate cunt mentality. They think we're so stupid that they can use phrases like rapid unscheduled assembly, and we buy that. We take that serious in any way. No, the rocket exploded. It blew up. Why? Because Leon's a fuck up. That's why. And we should not be trusting a Nazi-born or Nazi-raised oligarch to be in charge of our space program and privatize it all. No. This is what you get when you have an oligarch in charge of space travel. I don't know, 4 rockets every 2 years blow up? Shit like that. That's on your dime again, son. Don't think Leon's paying for it. Absolutely not. People like Leon that are born in, Nazi culture, raised filthy rich, they don't pay for things. They use your money, son. In the form of, ready? Contracts. Here's the details. Very short, and I'll be done here. Starship's 9th test flight. SpaceX launched Starship in its 9th test flight, a crucial test mission after 2 previous failures. The flight started smoothly, but Starship encountered some issues in orbit. The first stage Super Heavy booster exploded shortly before its expected splashdown. That's great. And fuel leaks on the upper stage vehicle caused it to spin uncontrollably before its planned re-entry through Earth's atmosphere. SpaceX confirmed that Starship broke apart during re-entry. At the time, the vehicle was on track to splash down in the Indian Ocean. After the launch, SpaceX CEO Leon Scum is expected to give a presentation from Texas about the road to making life multiplanetary. He was going to go right from the successful rocket launch to give a speech about how, look, this shows we can have this multi-planetary thing where I can be God King on Mars and charge you all space tax and rule our Earth from Mars once I kill Donnie. I'm serious. He believes this. And, I really wouldn't want to hear the presentation after that, would you? Would you take it very seriously? What he should give a presentation on is how to blow up rockets. How to be an incompetent, fat, pasty fuck who's never done a hard day's work in his life. On Special K. And God knows what else. And some of you idiots want the brain chip? This motherfucker can't even launch a rocket. And again, we've been launching rockets since the 60s. Amazing. A guy who just exploded his fourth rocket in a couple years is going to give a speech about how we can live on multiple planets. It also shows just out of touch he is. That he's a child living in a fantasy. And we're the victims of that, by the way. And your money was used for him to blow the shit up. Because again, Leon ain't paying. He's got his hand out to you every 3 seconds. You paying, son. I hope I get to see the pictures of it re-entering, because I was just talking about yesterday and recently about, fire from the heavens raining down in the sight of men. And now several pictures we've seen of the last 2 rockets that Leon blew up literally look like raining fire. Rain, thin streaks. I didn't get to see this one. I just saw it while it was in space spinning around. It looked like an orange flame, just kind of circular. Over and over again. But they say it re-entered, so maybe there's, a debris, fire raining from the heavens in the sight of men again. For the 3rd or 4th time. But go search the pictures for yourself when you're trying to determine who's who. And ask yourself, does that look like fire raining from the heavens in the sight of men? That the whole world can see because of cell phones, TVs, smartphones, all that shit. I don't know. Those pics kind of look like it to me. Not kind of. They literally look like it. Who else can do that? Nobody. Unless you're a commander of a military that can fire missiles. But then again, you have to have the full authority of the first beast, and you have to be a prophet for that movement or whatever the beast is about. Leon fits that criteria. Leon's into AI. There's supposed to be an image made to this beast thing. The false prophet demands it. It's going to be AI. The only question is who's going to demand it. I have a feeling it's going to be Leon. Maybe I'm wrong. And even if it's not Leon, it's still some horrible person on the horizon. But I think it's Leon. He fits all the criteria. And another criteria Leon fits is welfare queen. Your money, or these 4 rockets or whatever that blew up, however many it's been, that's your money that blew up, son. And none of these rockets are doing a damn bit of good for us. They're only so Leon can sell Starlink services and eventually use the satellites to fucking police us all or something. So it don't do jack shit for us, that all this shit you're paying for. Because Leon always has his hand out for another contract. He can't afford to run the space program. You got to run it. So instead of NASA and a non-profit situation where a bunch of scientists are just doing it, competent people, we pay an oligarch our money to do it privately. How's that working out? Have we achieved a damn fucking thing? Besides putting up Starlink satellites that he can then sell service for after you paid for it, son. Do you get any Starlink money? Absolutely fucking not. Because the welfare's for the rich, it ain't for you. You're the slave. Anyway, I digress too much. I got to get the hell out of here and get a pack of cigarettes or something. Another rocket blown up by Leon. Isn't that great? I felt it was the perfect ending. It just, again, just shows what these people are. Again and again, we see their failure. These cunts that fail upward, that are just worthless wastes of fucking oxygen. And they take your tax money in the form of welfare, and they blow it up. That's Leon, son. That's Leon. Until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.